Arrivals gate, a Thursday. You're watching a door for a face you haven't seen in 4 years, and you're slightly worried you'll walk straight past it. You spot them. There's a hug. And then, for about 90 seconds, it's genuinely awful. You ask about the flight. They ask about the parking. Two adults performing a small play about weather and traffic. And then, somewhere on the walk to the car, it stops. The play just ends. Neither of you calls it. By the exit barrier, you're already mid-argument about something that doesn't matter at all. For years, gone in the length of a car park. So here's the thing worth stopping on. It isn't that you were happy to see them. Of course you were. It's that there was nothing to catch up on. For years of material sitting right there, and neither of you reached for a single page of it. Because you have friends you speak to every week. Miss 3 weeks with them, and something goes slightly formal. Something needs winding back up. And then you have this one. For years of silence, and the engine starts on the first turn. So why does distance quietly kill some friendships and not touch this one at all? Start with the ordinary ones, because they're not the failure in this story. They're the majority, and they work. Most friendships are held up by contact. Not by love, exactly. By the running thread. The message about the thing you both saw. The 5 minutes at the door. The small update nobody needed, and both of you sent anyway. That isn't filler. That's the structure. Take 100 of those away, and something real is actually gone. Because what the thread carries is context. Where you work now. Who's ill. What you're worried about this month. And context has a half-life. It goes off. Everything on that thread is only true for about a season. So it needs restocking constantly. That's the phone call you feel guilty about not making. And miss enough of it, and one day you genuinely don't know them anymore. Not because you stopped caring. Because the shelf went empty. That's the drift. And it's honest work in its way. The friendship was made of the contact, so when the contact goes, it goes. Nobody did anything wrong. Something just stopped being fed. Now the other kind. And the difference isn't how much you love them. It's where they were made. Think about when you met them. I put money on the window. Somewhere between 15 and 25. Or in a room where nothing was decided yet. A first job that frightened you. A year that took something out of you. You didn't meet them the way you meet people now. You met them before you had the thing you show people. Because by 30 you have a version. It isn't a lie. It's just assembled. You know what you say about your job. You know which stories land. You have a good, well-worn 20 minutes. And everyone you meet from here on gets that. As they should. It's a good version. It's the one that works. But these people met the draft. The one before the edits. They watched you decide who you were going to be. Some of them watched you try 3 different answers in a single year. They were in the room for the version of you that didn't work. And they didn't leave. That's not sentiment. That's data. They're holding something nobody you meet at 40 will ever be able to get. You cannot introduce someone to your 15-year-old self. That window is shut. It's shut a long time ago. Only the people who are standing there will ever have been standing there. It's the one thing you can't hand to anybody new. So here's why the silence doesn't touch it. What they're holding isn't information about you. Information is what your weekly friends hold. Your job title, your postcode, the name of the person you're seeing. All of that is news-shaped, and news, by definition, expires. What the old ones have is a different thing entirely. They know how you go quiet just before you say the true thing. They know which of your jokes is a door and which one is a wall. They know what your voice does when you're lying to yourself, which is a sound you can't hear. That isn't information. That's calibration. It's not a fact about you. It's a setting. And here's the part that matters. Facts go out of date. Settings don't. You change jobs. You changed cities. You change what you want out of Saturday. You did not change how you go quiet. Not really. That was said a long time before either of you had a car. So they don't need updating. They never had the news in the first place. There's nothing on the shelf to go off. That's why 4 years does nothing. 4 years is only long if you were storing something perishable. Which brings us back to those 90 seconds at the gate. Because they're real. Don't let anyone tell you they're not. For a minute and a half you're both doing the version. The good one. The one you give people. It isn't fake. It's just what you do with people. It's the default, and it's running. And then something in the other person doesn't take it. They don't play the part back. They say something they'd only ever say to the draft. And your version has nowhere left to go. So it drops. That's the moment in the car park. That's the whole thing collapsing back down to true size. 90 seconds isn't the friendship struggling. It's the version working out that it isn't needed here. And once it's down, there's nothing left to do but talk. So you talk about nothing immediately for 6 hours. Now the guilt. Because you feel it. You should call more. You always mean to call more. But look at what the guilt assumes. It assumes the friendship is running down. That the silence is spending it. And that's true of the thread ones. That's exactly how they work. It just isn't true here. You're not spending anything because nothing is being drawn down. It was paid for already, in a room with one lamp on the floor and no furniture in it. But I want to be honest with you, because there is a cost here. It just isn't the one you've been watching for. This kind of friendship survives time. It genuinely does. Time is not its problem. What it doesn't survive is a change in the setting itself. Not the news. The thing underneath the news. Someone goes through the kind of year that moves the floor, and they come back calibrated differently. And then you meet at the gate, and the 90 seconds runs, and it doesn't drop. It just keeps going. You get to the car park and you're still being polite. You get to the house and you're still being polite. That's the one that hurts. And it hurts precisely because you know exactly what the alternative sounds like. But notice, that isn't distance doing it. For years didn't do that. Something moved at the bottom, and the old settings stopped reading true. Which means the silence was never the risk. You were guarding the wrong thing the whole time. So you can't really protect this one by calling more. That isn't where it lives. It lives in a room you can't get back to. And the strange gift in that is the silence is safe. Not neglect, not decay, just nothing happening, which is what it was built for. Though there's a test buried in it that you never meant to run. You only ever find out which kind you had by going quiet. 4 years of nothing is a question. Most friendships answer it honestly. A few of them don't answer at all. They just carry on the sentence. Somewhere in the last few minutes, a name showed up in your head. You didn't go looking for it. It just arrived and sat down. Now notice what didn't come with it. You haven't spoken to them in a long time, and there's no guilt attached to the name at all. It's just sitting there, warm, undamaged, waiting. That isn't you being a bad friend. That's the friendship telling you what it's made of.